On that note, we're really excited to have Matthew Sang, who's the program supervisor from YI's Independent Living Program. Matthew is going to present on 10 tips for independent living. And Matt and I were chatting before we started, and independent living program has been around at YI for quite a while, and it's just a really amazing program, amazing opportunity for folks to really gain a lot of skills. So thank you, Matt, for joining us. And
Of course, thank you.
yeah, and on that note, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me first start sharing my screen. Um, okay, so Tracy, can you confirm two things that I am coming in loud and clear?
You are loud and clear.
Wonderful, and you do see the presentation right here.
I do, looking good.
Wonderful, okay. Okay. Okay, hi everyone. Brief introduction. My name is Matthew Sang. I work with YEI and I've been working with YEI. It'll be 17 years now in August. Um, I am the program supervisor for the Independent Living Skills Program. A brief visual description of myself. I am Asian male with short black hair. I am wearing glasses and I have a black polo t-shirt on. And my background is a gray wall. I'm sitting in an office. Okay, so yes, we're gonna begin about the 10 tips for independent living for the people that we support. And I'm also going to be talking about the Independent Living Skills Program. So the Independent Living Skills Program is an OPWDD family support program. So what that means is that the family support program is a program that requires somebody to be eligible through OPWDD. It is not Medicaid waiver. Therefore, the person does not need Medicaid. They do not necessarily need a care manager. All they really need is that OPWDD eligibility. Um, so this program does serve people who are 18 and older. And we do serve people who live in the Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and the Bronx areas. Unfortunately, we don't have Staten Island grant. Um, a very important thing to note is that the group members do have to live at home with family members. So that's what a family support program is that the person has to live in the community with family members. They can't live on their own. They can't live in ISS apartments. They can't live in residential settings. Um, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, please register by calling this number or the email that you see. Okay, so now we're gonna go over 10 tips for independent living, and then I'm gonna go over the topics that we cover in this program. So the first tip is for the group members to really access their strengths and identify areas where they need to work on. So really just coming into the program, they should really do a self-assessment, knowing what they're strong in, what areas they're strong in. Perhaps maybe if they're really good doing laundry, but they need help cooking, right? So just kind of like really knowing where your strengths are and where areas where you need to work on to be more independent is a really good starting point when you start this program. The second tip is defining short-term goals and concrete goals, right? So we never want to kind of work on goals that maybe seem far-fetched. We really want our group members to identify short-term goals that they could really work on and then achieve, and then feel really proud of themselves for achieving that goal. Start with easy ones, right? Just um, Like, for example, learning how to make a sandwich if you don't know how to make a sandwich, or maybe just learning how to make a simple pasta dish, or maybe learning to make your bed, something short termed, and that you could really work on. The third tip is really to access your support system to reach those goals, right? So we do talk about the natural support system and the paid support systems throughout the course of Independent Living Skills program, and really just not being afraid to reach out for help. Uh, Oftentimes, people are too proud or too embarrassed to ask for help. So this is kind of where we really teach our group members to identify your support system and feel comfortable in reaching out to them to help you with these goals. And then tip number 4, develop a plan to reach the goals. So we have a goal planning lesson in this curriculum of ours. And we really do have the group members learn how to identify the goals, and then to develop a plan to reach these goals. Number 5 is self-monitoring system, meaning hold yourself accountable, right? You are trying to reach certain goals. You really want to monitor your own progress, and then hold yourself accountable for kind of maybe like slacking off. So really just having a good sense of what you're working towards, why you're working towards it, and then really holding yourself accountable if you feel yourself slacking off. And then self-reward system is tip number 6. And this is kind of where you really want to do little things to reward yourself every time you make progress towards these goals, right? If maybe you're very shy and you really tend not to interact with anyone, but then you start going to the group, you start interacting with people, and you really you feel yourself opening up and blossoming as social skills, right? So reward yourself for that. And it could mean eating a special lunch, treating yourself to a special lunch, or maybe watching a movie that you've been wanting to watch, but you for whatever reason you haven't watched it. Reward yourself for these little areas of progress that you see yourself making. Or if you have your family members, or even the group facilitators, they give you a compliment. Peter, I see that you have really opened up since the beginning of this program, and I'm so proud of you. And then Peter would feel that pride of making that progress, and then he can maybe buy himself a video game that he's been wanting to buy. Tip number 7 is going back to that natural support system. So we do, we teach within the course of the program that there's natural supports like your family and friends, and even, faith-based support systems like churches. So they're all part of natural support systems. And then we also talk about paid support systems, right? Anyone who's a paid support system, that would include us as a program that you're attending, a day hab, a ComHab, home attendants, doctors, therapists. They're all paid support systems. So access, like identifying your natural and identifying your paid support circle of support, and then reaching out to them. And I guess that ties into number 8, tip number 8, realizing and identifying who your paid supports are. Quite often, the people that we support, our group members, they allow their parents to do so much for them that they don't even know who the care manager is. They don't know who the care manager works for, what agency, what their phone number is. The parent has all that information, right? So really, they're your care manager, not your mother's, not your father's. So really knowing who is who your doctor is, who your therapist is, your care manager, your comm help worker, all of those, and having direct resources to them. You having their number, not going through mom to reach your community rehabilitation worker, right? So having direct access to those resources. Tip number 9 is community integration, and that's going out in the community and just seeing what's out there and practicing your skills, which leads us to number 10. Always practice, practice, practice the skills that you want to work on, and don't be afraid to involve other people. And especially don't be afraid to keep on practicing if you fail over and over again. Um, if there's no progress with quitters, right? So always make sure that you are never giving up on the goals that you set for yourself. It's okay to give yourself extra time. If you don't meet your goal within the 6 months that you gave yourself, give yourself an extra 4 months and then just keep working on it. So now we are going to cover the many different topics that we do within the curriculum of the Independent Living Skills program. Number 1 is goal setting. Number 2 is self-advocacy. Number 3 is decision making. Number 4 is healthy friendships. Number 5 is getting along with others. Number 6, dating and romantic relationships. Number 7, personal hygiene. Number 8, eating well and staying active. Number 9, taking care of medical needs and learning CPR first aid. Number 10, living on my own. Number 11, stress management. Number 12, adapting and coping with unexpected change. Number 13, emotional wellness. Number 14, peer pressure, bullying, drugs, and alcohol. Number 15, using my leisure time. Number 16, safety in the home. Number 17, internet safety and etiquette. Number 18, community safety. Number 19, money management, part 1. Number 20, money management, shopping smart. Number 21, employment goals. Number 22, success at work. Number 23, transportation accessibility. And these are all the topics that we have covered in the past and currently. And then I'm going to go over one by one what we kind of cover in these topics. So the first one is goal setting. And in this lesson plan, we discuss the importance of setting goals for oneself. And then we identify the differences between what a short-term goal is and what a long-term goal is. For example, a short-term goal might be to learn how to make a sandwich, or maybe cook a plate of pasta and spaghetti and meatballs. And a long-term goal might be to graduate with an associate's degree, right? From college. Go to college and get your associate's degree, and then maybe even your bachelor's and your master's. Those are all long-term goals. Short-term goals are achievable within a couple of months or maybe a year. And then long-term goals involve many years, possibly. We identify and set goals using the SMART method of goal setting. And that's where we kind of discuss a specific, where goals have to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And then we break down what tasks are needed to obtain these goals. We go over the 5 facts about goal setting. We utilize a SMART method handout to identify, each group member identifies one short-term goal they want to work on and one long-term goal that they want to work on. And then we, do a couple of true or false questions, a little role playing, and a little assessing situational scenarios, which we tend to do through every group. Okay, self-advocacy is another topic that we cover. So when we cover self-advocacy, we do work to define what self-advocacy means to each group member. So everyone might have a different vision of what self-advocacy means to them. And then we talk about the importance of self-advocacy and how to increase your skills to advocate for yourself. We go over various rights, like your right, civil rights, rights as a American citizen, rights with a person with disabilities, right? For example, when you have a documented disability, you can get reasonable accommodations when you're in school. And that's where you kind of get that extra time for exams, and you could even get a person to help you break things down, the information. So we have a lot of rights that the people that we support don't realize that they have. So we go over those different rights. Who can you turn to for additional support? And this is really where we focus on your circle of support, whether they be natural supports or paid supports. Everyone is in that circle. We do role-playing scenarios where the group members advocate for themselves. And then we cover different groups and organizations that focus on self-advocacy. We also recently had a presentation by Scott Karolidis, who is our government official, government liaison within YEI, and he presented to the group members about the importance of voting, right? Because when you vote, you're advocating for the things that matter to you. So he went over the importance of voting. He broke down the government officials who are in your corner on a city level, state level, on a federal level. And he gave a lot of information to the group members who really appreciated all that info. Another topic that we go over is how to make decisions, right? Decision making. We go over the importance of making correct decisions and your self-determination. The group members reflect on an important decision that they have made in their lives and how it turned out for them, whether it be a positive outcome or a negative outcome. And then they kind of go over, if it is a negative outcome, they go over how they could have done things differently. And then we cover how to prevent making wrong decisions, right? How to think things through, how to reach out to your circle of support before making making a rash decision that could have lasting consequences. And then we also go over the concept of making smart decisions. Um, we self-monitor, which is kind of tying into the group members thinking back to decisions that they've made. And then, of course, we do role-playing scenarios and assess situational scenarios and determine whether the person or persons in those scenarios did the right thing or not. And then we also do review a guide that was created by Dartmouth College on how to make proper good decisions. Another topic is something that a lot of people that we support, a lot of people with developmental disabilities have struggles in, right? And that's to make healthy friendships. Many times they don't know how to make friends. Everyone wants friends. Everyone wants to be wanted. Everybody wants to um, to participate in group activities. However, they just don't know how to go about it. And that's where we cover in this topic the importance of good friendships. Each group member usually goes over of a good friendship. They kind of give an example of a good friend that they have and what makes them a good friend, and um, what qualities that they look for in a friend. Because not everyone has the same qualities of a good friend, right? Um, and then we go over how to meet new people. We go over how to get somebody, getting to know somebody you just met. So obviously, when you just meet somebody for a first time, maybe even two times, you don't interact with them as if you've known them for 10 years, right? You have to approach this budding friendship in such a manner that you grow the friendship and not just overwhelm them, because you never know if the person can be completely overwhelmed just by meeting you, and you have a big personality and they're just not used to all of this, and they become overwhelmed and then they just withdraw from you. um, we learn how to initiate a proper hangout session and what it is, what it means, to give the person time to think about whether or not they want to do something. So, when you're initiating a hangout session, it's a good idea not to text the person or call the person continuously, right? Are you free today? Are you free tomorrow? Are you free this week? This and that. Give them some time to get back to you. And then we talk about maintaining positive friendships. And then again, we role play scenarios and break down situational scenarios to see if the involved parties did the right thing or not. And this is kind of getting along with others is hand in hand with healthy friendships. We go over getting the importance of getting along with people and how to convey respect to people, because when you are disrespectful, people don't want to be bothered by you, right? So, how do you show respect to others? How do you respect personal boundaries and personal space? We talk about different conflicts and situations that can create conflict. And then we talk about using the deal method of conflict resolution. And that is kind of like describing, expressing, asking, and letting. Um, letting the other party or parties express themselves and then come up with the art of compromising. So oftentimes when there's conflict, the art of compromising can quickly resolve the conflict, and we do role playing and assess scenarios for that as well. Oh, dating and romantic relationships is a very touchy subject sometimes, right? A lot of families feel very funny about their loved ones becoming romantically involved, and worrying that they are um, might be starting a relationship with the wrong person. And then, being 2025, dating and romantic relationships is not what it was in the past. So obviously, we talk about the different types of relationships that exist these days. We go over what a romantic relationship looks like in 2025. We go over what sexual orientation is and what gender identity is, and respecting people's pronouns. We go over the qualities and what makes a good friend and what makes a good romantic partner. Um, we go over the importance of sex and physical intimacy. Is it required in a dating in a romantic relationship? We very importantly go over the concept of consent and the fact that consent can be withdrawn at any moment. And once it's withdrawn, you just have to stop whatever it is you're doing. Otherwise, it will turn into battery and assault, and it's a very touchy subject um, to many about what constitutes consent. What constitutes consent is when you hear the words stop or no. That's when you have to stop, and that's when you have to respect the no. Anything else, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. We go over relationships, healthy, unhealthy, abusive. We go over how to start a relationship, and what does a proper first date look like for you. Is it a dinner and a movie? Is it going bowling? Is it going on a picnic? Is it just sitting out there looking at the stars? You know, a first date is really could be so many things, and it doesn't have to be an expensive dinner. Warning signs of a toxic relationship is also discussed. And of course, we go over scenarios and resources. And we have made efforts to have Connie Sr. present dating and romantic relationship tips. Connie Sr. is a long time member of, not member, employee of YAI. She's actually the director of our training department nowadays. And we do make every effort to try to have Connie present to our group members. Personal hygiene. That's kind of another area that some people with disabilities might have a little struggle in, but it's a very important skill because um, everyone reacts to personal hygiene, right? Um, Whenever you're out there in the community and somebody might have a body odor, it's very noticeable. And you kind of, whether it's nice or not, you want to stay away from the person, right? So recognizing what personal hygiene is and hygiene habits is very important for our group members, especially building up to like dating and romantic relationships, having friends, just success at work and all of that. Personal hygiene is very important. We go over hygiene habits, we go over dental care, how you can mask body odors, right? We ask our group members how often they shower, and it's okay if you don't shower every day. There are ways that can, you can freshen up without having to shower every day. The importance of laundry and laundering your clothes on a regular basis, right? Because if you're wearing the same clothes without washing them, they're gonna look dirty and they're gonna smell dirty. And we also talk about obviously hand washing and proper way to contain a sneeze, and we touch upon the sensitivity of personal hygiene ever since COVID, because everyone became so hypersensitive to a simple sneeze. It's no longer a simple sneeze post COVID. Immediately, you have a more of a heavy reaction to sneezes and coughs, right? So we really want to teach our group members how to contain those sneezes and coughs. And then we, of course, role play and assess situational scenarios. Eating healthy and staying active. We definitely cover the importance of physical wellness. We break down what My Plate is, which is the new food pyramid. Um, and we go over the different ways to stay physically active, what moderate physical activity is, what vigorous activity is, and then we go over proper gym etiquette, because we do have a lot of group members in the past that actually do go to gym and gyms. So we cover what it is to respect everyone who's at the gym and to clean up after yourselves. We go over different resources, and then we do the role playing and the situational scenarios. Taking care of medical needs and CPR first aid. The group members do self care assessments They identify steps to improve self-care routines. They learn the signs of illnesses and when to approach your circle of support. Don't wait until you're lapsing into a coma before telling people that you've been having chest pains for weeks now, right? So once you start feeling chest pain, immediately tell your circle of support and go see a doctor. But then, obviously, also if you get a paper cut, that's not a reason to go to the hospital, right? So learning the signs of illness and learning when and how to move forward with whatever is going on. How to set up your own medical appointments, how to make the most of your medical appointments, because all too often the people that we support, they just sit there and medical professional talks to their family members without even addressing them. They're just sitting there listening, right? But it's your health, your progress. Advocate for yourself and speak directly with your medical providers, whether it be your doctor or your therapist. They should never speak like you're not even there. They should address you. So advocate for yourself during your medical visits. Learning how to describe symptoms and using the pain scale. And then also, we actually recently had our knowledge training department come and teach our group members first aid and CPR. They actually did CPR on the dummies, and so they really took a lot from that lesson, and everyone did a great job with the CPR compressions. And of course, role playing scenarios and situational scenarios are assessed. Living on my own is where we try to do a visit to an IRA setting. We also talk about what their vision of independent living means to them, what being a good neighbor means, what responsibilities that you'll be taking on now that you are now on your own and no longer having that luxury of having mom and dad or your siblings right there in the house with you. Uh, we talk about, again, utilizing that circle of support of yours to make the final decision of whether you're ready or not to live on your own. And we cover different resources. Stress management, identifying what stress is and common stressors that we all have, the effects of stress in body and mind, breaking down the effects of stress physically, what it does to you physically, what it can do to you emotionally, and how stress affects you behaviorally. You become very snippy. You can snap at people, and you can even um, burst out into anger, right? Strike out against people, all in a fit of rage because you're just overwhelmed with stress and it just overtook you in that moment. We cover different coping strategies to manage the stress. We go over the how to effectively manage your responsibilities that you don't become overly stressed. We have a handout showing 50 different ways to take a break. So when you do feel that stress building up, you have to take a break. You have to give yourself a break. Otherwise, you really will become burnt out and overwhelmed. And of course, we go over role playing and scenarios, and we cover different resources for stress management. Adapting and coping with unexpected change. This is where it's very important because a lot of people tend to be routine based, right? And when that routine is broken, they don't know what to do. and they become stressed. They're very stressed. I'm always, sitting here in this seat on this side of the room, but now somebody's in my seat, and now I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel. This is kind of where you manage that stress, and then you adapt to that unexpected change that somebody is now in your favorite seat. Something as simple as, somebody in your seat, or what you think is your seat, because there are no assigned seatings, but you've always sat there and now somebody is there. How am I going to process this? So kind of tying in with that stress management is the idea of being flexible and being adaptable to change. We go over the strategies again for coping with change. We do flexibility check-ins. What is deal breakers for you? Like, this is something that I simply cannot have happen. And then we kind of go over how to adapt to those changes the way you feel like you cannot function if this is not the way it is for you. Emotional wellness, again, as you can probably tell that all these topics really tie into each other. Emotional wellness and mental health is, what does being emotionally and mental health mean to you? We talk about what emotional resiliency means, and we talk about ways to take care of your emotional wellness. Um, this is kind of where this topic is where we try our best to have a therapist from our Article 16 clinic make a short presentation about, therapy and what it means to have a therapist and not having shame about having therapy, right? Because oftentimes, society will tell you that if you have a therapist, you're crazy, you're mentally unstable. This is all not true. It is perfectly healthy to have a therapist, and what that relationship is like with your therapist is very important. You would really want to, we talk about focusing on the positivity of everything, because if you dwell in the negative side, you're never going to see the brighter picture. And then, of course, role playing scenarios and assessing situational scenarios. We talk about peer pressure, drugs, and alcohol. And this is very important, especially with our younger folks who are still uh, very much invested in what people think of them, right? They cave into peer pressure. They just want to feel included, they want to feel wanted, and sometimes the wrong crowd attracts them. And then they start doing drugs, they start abusing medication. We cover all of that in this scenario. What the effects of drugs can be, um, and of course, how to get out of drug habits. And this is very heavy on role playing and assessing situational scenarios. How to use my leisure time. So everyone has leisure time. Everyone has time, free time, so to speak. Now we kind of say that it's perfectly fine to spend your free day just doing nothing, right? Sitting at home, laying in bed, and just relaxing the day away. That's a perfectly fine use of your free time. However, we kind of also focus about maximizing your free time to be more productive instead of just doing nothing. What can you do with that free day of yours to expand your social circle, to expand and do something that you've never done before? How do you find activities, right? In this day and age, everyone has apps, everyone has access to the internet, and there's just so many ways. You could simply just Google, what can I do for free to have fun? and AI will take over. Now, with the advent of AI, um, the internet will tell you some very specific information on what you can do, where to do, how to do, and of course, there does, to a certain degree, right? You have to have a certain discernment on what is appropriate and what is not. um, how to have the benefits of engaging in activities rather than staying home, how to plan an activity with yourself and with others. And then we do a lot of role playing as well, in the sense of how to approach a friend or a group of friends and getting them to agree with you to try something new. Safety in the home, and this is kind of where we really do cover safety skills in the home, in all parts of the home. We have, in the past, we have had the FDNY come to make a presentation during this lesson plan. We talk about the home environment and safety for all. We talk about making an emergency contact list and having that list accessible to you. We talk about safety in the kitchen, especially if you are one to cook, or use the microwave, because obviously we all know that you should not put metal or metallic items in the microwave, right? Otherwise, it will spark almost immediately. It won't even take like a minute before it starts sparking. It's almost instantaneous, where the metal begins to spark, and it could cause a fire right away. We cover different tips of stove use. We talk about cross contamination and food poisoning that leads that can result in as a result of cross contaminating. If you are using a cutting board to cut raw chicken, and then using that same unwashed board to cut the cooked chicken, obviously that is cross contamination. So you're going to get really sick by doing that. We talk about bathroom safety, and especially in the area of not having electrical items plugged into the wall anywhere near water. We go over the importance of smoke detectors and carbon monoxide, which is the silent killer. You can't smell it, you can't detect it, but you will start to feel the effects of carbon monoxide, and you will eventually faint and never wake up. So when we talk about carbon monoxide, we do stress that it is undetectable to the human senses. And that is why detectors are very important. If for whatever reason you start feeling faint and you don't know why, open up a window. If there are windows near you, immediately open up a window. If there are no windows around you, immediately leave the room or leave the environment and try to find fresh air. But we really do stress the importance of having those smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and when to change the batteries. Now, in this day and age, the internet and social media is everything, right? So we do kind of really go over internet safety and etiquette, how to act um, on websites, on apps, and everything, and emphasizing that everything is traceable. A lot of people think they can post anonymously and not be held accountable for what they write. That is not true at all, because as you can see in real time, a lot of people get fired from jobs from what they wrote on Facebook, maybe even 10 years ago, right? Things are always stored on the World Wide Web, And as long as somebody takes a screenshot of what you have written or posted, it will live forever. So all it does, you could post something and then take it down for 5 minutes, but within those 5 minutes, who knows how many people have seen it and how many people have taken screenshots of it. And you think that because you deleted it, it's gone forever. But no, people have it in their possession now. And they can even, situations like blackmail can happen or whatever the case may be. And we really teach our group members to how to properly um, be appropriate and hold yourself accountable to what you post and what you write. And then also avoiding situations where it's too good to be true. Like click this link for a free pair of Air Jordans. How likely is it that you're actually gonna get a free pair of Air Jordans just by simply clicking this link? Not very likely, right? So it's not very smart to click that link. um, and then also we cover the idea of catfishing and just really we go over a lot of things in this lesson plan because it's so prevalent nowadays. Equally prevalent is community safety, and this is where we cover all the various safety risks there are when traveling. And in this day and age, things are so volatile in our community these days that it's very, very important to kind of be aware of your surroundings and then how to avoid different situations. And when you find yourself in a situation, how to just, it's best to not engage in a war of words or even, never ever never engage with somebody who is just looking to start trouble. Even it means apologizing when you have nothing to apologize for or when you really don't want to apologize. Sometimes all you have to say is, I'm sorry, and the person will relent. At least enough to not, physically assault you. Um, we talk about general safety tips. We talk about transit safety. Um, you know, very, very scarily today. It just happened today where somebody was stabbed in the chest because he stepped on somebody's shoes. A fight, an argument ensued, and the argument turned into physical violence. And now, this poor person who engaged in somebody who was very angry is now in critical condition. And it literally just happened today in the news. So that's really how prevalent all of this is when it comes to community safety. We really teach our group members to be ever vigilant, and it's okay to let go of your book bag if somebody grabs it. Your life is the most precious thing there is. Even if you have an iPad, even if you have a new headphones that you just bought, everything can be replaced. Your life cannot be replaced. We talk about money management as another topic. We go over the differences of money practices. We cover the different skills of income and expenses, identifying what income is, identifying what expenses is, and then we identify the concepts of needs and wants. Do you really need this item or do you really want it? Right? Like, for example, those pair of Air Jordans. Do you really need Air Jordans that cost $200? Um, no. The answer is no. You need sneakers, you need footwear, you do need that. However, spending $200 to $300 on a pair of sneakers that will put a target on you, by the way, because somebody might see a fresh pair of Jordans on your feet and decide, I want those sneakers. And they might now, you know, follow you home and assault you and just rip those sneakers out of your feet. We go over what a budget is, and then we discuss a sample budget, identify incomes and expenses. We go over ATM safety use, and then we kind of create a budget on a example budget sheet. So we also talk about shopping smart, right? We talk about expanding the limited funds that you do have. We talk about maximizing your dollars by shopping at discount stores. There's absolutely no shame in shopping at Dollar Tree, Lot Less, Lot Stop, all those different closeout retailers. Um, for the most part, they probably won't be selling the most fashionable items. However, a pair of jeans that costs maybe $20 at Lot Less is going to serve you much better than $150 pair of jeans at Macy's, right? We talk about learning how to coupon. We talk about different wholesale stores like Costco's and BJ's that you could wholesale shop at. We talk about utilizing weekly sales. A lot of supermarkets and pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens, they have weekly sales that you could look through, and that's how you maximize your money. Instead of buying toothpaste at full price, you could wait one more week to buy it on sale. And then we talk about utilizing apps, because nowadays apps are everything, right? A lot of places of business have app-specific coupons, app-specific deals, app-specific even subscription plans. Like Pret, Pret has their subscription plan that if you pay like 40, and I think they're raising their prices now, but you get up to 5 drinks a day. So if you are a person that likes to buy Starbucks on a regular basis, Starbucks can add up real quick. But if you really are a fan of just coffee or iced tea or even lemon lemonades, Pret has the same thing. Pret is not Starbucks. However, if you do sign up for this plan, for example, you do get up to 5 drinks a day for a whole month. This is one example. And then we also talk about family reimbursement, which is the OPWDD family support program that you can submit for reimbursement for goods and services that are allowed through OPWDD. We talk about employment goals, and this is kind of where we have a SEMP coach, a support employment coach from YEI come and present the supported employment program. We talk about each group member goes over their current employment status, whether they've ever held a job or not, whether they've volunteered or not, and what they want to do if they were to ever get a job. I've had group members work at Barclay Center. One of them actually just got a job at Citi Field with Aramark doing concessions. So he is now working the New York Met games. So definitely our loved ones, the people that we support, they are certainly capable of working. Whether or not they're currently working right now remains their own motivation, right? They have to be motivated to work. So kind of we go over the different skill assessments, knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're not good at, knowing what you want to do. If you want to do clerical responsibilities or maybe janitorial, maybe you like to clean a lot. So a desk job would not suit you, but a janitorial position might be what you're looking for, right? And then, like I said, the supporting employment coach usually makes their presentation during this session. We also talk about success at work, how to get along with your coworkers and your supervisors, how to identify your skills to be good at work. The concept of being a team player, right? Because when you're working within the department, if you're not a team player, you're gonna eventually isolate yourself, and nobody's gonna want to deal with you because you're not willing to make compromises. You're not willing to hear other people out. So being a team player is very important for your success in your work life. We talk about handling harassment and abuse at work. We talk about going to HR. The human resources department is always there to help you, even when you're having trouble with your own supervisor, right? And you feel like you could lose your job if you speak out. The human resources department is always there to help you, and they are 100% confidential. So you can always confide in human resources. And just a minute. I think we gotta skip numbers. Transportation accessibility is usually where I invite Christopher Greif to come and speak about Omni, reduced fare MetroCard, Accessoride, and how to troubleshoot various situations when dealing with any of the above, with the MTA, with Omni, Accessoride. Um, Christopher Greif is, I believe he's now the head of the Riders Council, Subway Alliance. Like he's got his hands in so many different things when it comes to uh, transportation. He's very well versed in all of this. So he makes a really good presentation about all of this. And then we also, outside of Christopher, we talk about the different various modes of transportation uh, that is available to everyone, such as Amtrak, Greyhound, all the different buses that you can take to go places out of state, Metro North, all of those things that we talk about. What's out there? Um, Okay, so those were all of the different topics within the curriculum of independent living skills. So what you see here is our flyer, right? The independent living skills. It is for adults 18 and older who live at home with their family members. Um, Ideally, uh, the group member is able to and willing to participate in group discussions, role plays, and really just being active in the group, right? Because this is ultimately a learning experience. So if you're just going to sit there, say nothing, and do nothing, I mean, sure, you're absorbing the information, but I don't know how much you're gonna get out of it. So obviously, it's the best experience for the group member, their peers, and for the facilitators, for every group member to really feel comfortable enough to participate, at least, even if it's a little bit, participate in their own comfort level with the group discussions and role playing and scenarios. And then, as you can see here on the bottom, the blue banner, to register for the independent living skills, call that number. That is my number. And then you can also email group training at yei.org. And the next series of the independent living skills will begin the week of August 11th, and it will go through October 15th. We do have different locations. We have a Queens location, we have a Brooklyn location, we have a Manhattan location. So that's three different groups. Um, they will be in person, but there will also be a virtual component to the groups. Um, and the groups will be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And as you can see here, transportation reimbursement is provided in the form of $3. And there's also light refreshments that are provided. Yeah. So definitely, do we have any questions, Tracy?
Yeah, we do. Thanks, Matt, for a great presentation. I think you know, just hearing all that you shared and all the different things that folks have to think about and gain knowledge about
Yeah.
with regard to independent living, it's really amazing what a comprehensive program
Mhm.
that you offer. So, anybody that has a question for Matt, please pop that into the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. The first one I have, Matt, is I work at a high school in Queens. Do
Mm.
you do any parent presentations?
Certainly, that can be discussed, and if we have enough parents, we could certainly arrange it. Yeah, we can certainly arrange it if there's a good amount of parents who want to learn about this, whether it be in person or just on Zoom, we can present to those parents. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so keep entering those questions. So next one is if you don't have OPWDD eligibility, any ideas where folks can learn more about independent living skills, such as what your program offers?
So I believe there are outside agencies that do provide similar um, training groups that don't work within OPWDD.
Mm.
Um, New York Connects is probably
Mm.
a good resource.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I will pop that in the chat.
Yep.
New
Hmm.
York Connects. I don't know, Matt, if you want to share any more about them, about what they do.
So New York Connects is like I believe it's a New York City or New York State initiative that has many different resources in and out of mostly outside of OPWDD, and yeah, obviously I haven't dealt with them too much, so I can't give great details. But if you just Google New York Connects, it'll bring you to their website, and I highly recommend that you take some time to look through their website.
Yeah, and I just popped a New York Connect's website into the chat so folks
Yeah.
can you know, directly connect. What I will also share about New York Connects is a lot of their, at least in New York City, their local offices are run by independent living centers. So
Yeah.
Sydney, which I know, Matt, you know, but Sydney, for
Yeah.
those that
Yeah.
don't know, is a really great additional resource for folks to reach out to. They may even do some independent living type classes. I've heard some of the independent living centers in the city do like money management and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, so other questions. There is someone else that just made a comment. I would be interested in a class for the parents. So it looks like we have two uh, um, people who are tuning in that are looking for this information specifically for parents.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
know I notice a lot of what you shared. You would also kind of reference like, you know, this might be tough for parents too when you were talking about sexuality and relationships. So it sounds
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
um,
feel free to email group training at yei.org, and then we could certainly, figure something out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the next question is, how many days a week is the program?
So typically it is once a week. Yeah, once a week for about 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
one semester. And a full course is about 20 sessions,
Okay.
split into 2 semesters, each semester having 10 sessions each.
Got it.
So the dates that you see here on the screen,
Mhm.
that is semester 1 of the next series.
Got it. Okay. So split into 2 semesters. This would be
Yeah,
semester one, and then they would come back like in the spring, maybe to.
right.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Kind of get a long break in between.
I mean, yeah, early spring or
Yeah.
late winter,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And
Yep.
I have another person that said interested for parents as well. So
Okay, yes.
there's definitely some
Email group
interest there.
training and we'll get to you.
Yeah. I know there was another comment too, someone put about New York Connects, some rejection from some different apartments. That just, I'm sorry to hear that, the person that entered that remark. But I'm wondering if we do this series again, maybe doing something about residential, just might be something interesting that we do. I don't know who could do it. That's a large topic to tackle, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted that person who put that comment in that maybe we do something residential wise. And then another person interested in the class for parents. So maybe we do this again as part of the series and do it specifically tailored towards parents. But I know we're right at 1:15, so last call if there's any additional questions. If not, Matt, thank you for a really
Oh,
amazing, really informative presentation. We really appreciate your time and putting this
mhm.
together and sharing all about independent living. It was really, really great. So thank you.
It was certainly my pleasure.
Yeah, and for everybody else tuning in, we did record this presentation. I know I just got a question about, I came in late, is this available? Yes, we are recording most of the series for the autism conference. So anybody that registered for any of the workshops, once all of the recordings are ready and they are up on our website, we will make sure to email you to let you know. They're going to be on yi.org/autism conference. But if you want to learn more about the independent living program, certainly reach out to Matt at this number or
Yeah.
email group training at yi.org. And all of you that attended today will get an email tomorrow with a feedback survey. Please, if you can, fill out that feedback survey. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's training and then, of course, ideas for future webinars. But on that note, Matt, again, thank you. This was really great. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And hopefully everybody has a lovely weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Matt. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.